How are planning notes useful? In this lesson, you will learn how to develop an introduction by using planning notes. We are writing in response to a prompt about a passage entitled Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave. Here is the prompt. Frederick Douglass had the opportunity to interact with many people. Examine the text closely. How was Frederick's life impacted by these other characters? Write an informative essay to convey your ideas about this question. Let's review the writing process. When responding to an essay prompt about literature, the first step is to read closely and analyze the text. Step 2 is to generate ideas and make a preliminary plan for the writing assignment. Step 3 involves drafting and revising to get ready for Step 4, where you edit and publish. In this lesson, we will be working on Step 3, specifically drafting an essay introduction. Here are some things to keep in mind. Remember, when writing in response to an essay prompt related to literature, reading and analyzing the text is very important. Your thinking and analysis of the text is used when you move forward to Step 2. Here you record your ideas and make a plan for how you can respond to the writing task. Once that plan is completed, you move on to Step 3 and begin drafting your essay. Here, you need to remember, use ideas and notes from the planning stage as a guide for creating your draft. Let's review the steps in our lesson. Step 1, review your planning notes. Draft a sentence to introduce your topic. Step 2, review your planning notes. Ask yourself, what main points do I want to include to support the topic? Make note of your ideas. Step 3, craft sentences to introduce the main points you selected. And Step 4, write a concluding sentence that summarizes the essence of your topic and main points. Let's start with Step 1. Review your planning notes, draft a sentence to introduce your topic. I need to keep in mind that my task is to explain how Frederick's life was impacted by the characters with whom he interacted. I will need to review the notes I made about the characters Frederick encountered. I remember there were only vague references about Master Hugh, so he's crossed off the list to write about. I want to include something about the fact that all this happened when Frederick was about 12 years old. That might help to make my topic sentence a little more interesting than if I just restated the prompt. So with that thought in mind, I'm ready to draft my topic sentence. When Frederick was 12 years old, he was deeply affected by certain people with whom he interacted. This is a good topic sentence, but it sounds a little strange for the first sentence of the essay. I can take care of that by adding another sentence in front of it to give my audience some background knowledge to set up the essay. And I'm going to do that with this sentence. Narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, is a first-person non-fiction narrative based on the life of the author Frederick Douglass. This looks good. It has a formal tone and establishes the topic. Now I can move on to identify the main points. Step 2, review your planning notes. Ask yourself, what main points do I want to include to support the topic? Make note of your ideas. Master Hugh is marked off my list, but I know that I can include something in the essay about all the other characters. In some way, each of them had an effect on the life of Frederick Douglass. There is an important difference in some of these characters, though. Mistress Hugh, the poor white kids, and the Irishman were all people that Frederick met face to face. The master, slave, and Sheridan were characters that he encountered through reading. I think it might be good to let my readers know that up front. So now I have an idea for the sentences I want to write to introduce the main points. I want to write about the people that Frederick met face to face and I want to write about the characters that he met by reading. So now I can move to step 3. Craft sentences to introduce the main points selected for the essay. I need a sentence about the people Frederick interacted with face to face. Some of Frederick's interactions were personal face-to-face encounters, such as those he had with Mistress Hugh, little white boys he befriended on the street, and a couple of Irishmen he met on a wharf. This sentence introduces the 3 characters I want to write about in the body of my essay. I know I have enough information in my notes to write a paragraph about each of these face-to-face encounters. But I am not quite finished. I still have some other points to make about other characters, so I need to write some more. I need another sentence about the people Frederick met through the book he read. I need to help the reader understand that these interactions were different from the ones with Mistress Hugh, the boys, and the Irishman. So here's my sentence. Other interactions were with characters Frederick met vicariously through reading a book entitled The Columbian Orator. When I look at the sentence, I like it, but I realize that it's just giving the reader background knowledge. Now I need to identify and introduce the characters I want to talk about. So here's another sentence to go with that. By reading the book, he experienced the personal realities of one runaway slave, his master, and another man referred to as Sheridan. I think this does the trick. I've written sentences to introduce all the characters I want to write paragraphs about in the body of the essay. Now I'm ready for step 4. Write a concluding sentence that summarizes the essence of your topic sentence and main points. Whether face-to-face or vicarious, encounters with these characters all had significant impact on the life of this young African American slave boy. This sentence clearly sets up my task for the body paragraphs of the paper. The reader will be expecting me to explain how each of the characters had an impact on Frederick Douglass. So here is my finished paragraph. I feel really good about the fact that I've introduced the topic, that I've told my reader exactly which characters I'm going to be talking about in the body of the paper itself. Let's review our steps. Step 1, review your planning notes. Draft a sentence to introduce your topic. Step 2, review your planning notes. Ask yourself, what main points do I want to include to support the topic? Make note of your ideas. Step 3, craft sentences to introduce main points selected for the essay. Step 4, write a concluding sentence that summarizes the essence of your topic and main points. In this lesson, you have learned how to develop a paragraph by using planning notes.